Hi guys, this is American Otaku. I'm here today with my friend JD.
What up?
So I'm Kenny, as you guys know. So this is going to be our first segment of Cinema Fanboys. It's going to be our segment where we review movies and pretty much just talk whatever we felt about recent movies that have come out, including old school films as well. So today we're going to be talking about the recent It movie with Bill Skarsgård. And pretty fantastic cast of kids. We just saw it recently on Friday, opening day. I had to rewatch it though because I had a terrible crowd, but it was still as good the second time, so that's pretty good news. So just to make things clear, the film is not a remake of the 1990 film. The film is basically just a new adaptation of the book. So some things will be different, but for the most part, it's very similar, just with a new take on it. Certain scenes have a new take to modernize the film a bit more. The film takes place in the 80s, unlike the original that took place in the 50s, because the book was written in the 80s, so Stephen King wrote it, the kid part of it in the 50s, and then the adult part in the 80s. So this time, just to modernize it, and since everyone loves the 80s nowadays, they decided to put the kid part in the 80s and the adult part, which will come out in 2019 supposedly. That part's going to be in modern day, so it kind of works out. So, anyways, the film's great. I'm going to start off saying that the film is great. Don't I want to say right now that the film is not really much of a horror film, as more as it's more of a drama. It's more of a coming of age story. It's basically like any coming of age story, similar to like Stand by Me and any kind of 80s boy group that essentially grows up throughout the film. It just happens to have a killer clown in it. And the film, honestly, like, I wouldn't even say it's a horror film per se. Like I said, it feels like more of a drama. I mean, there's a lot of funny parts in the film. I thought the kids were funny as shit.
No, the kids were funny.
Fucking Richie.
Richie,
he's the gross kid. Richie's that kid that he just kind of says what's on his mind.
Yeah.
Like he jokes about every fucking thing, and he's perverted, and he says holy shit and fuck a lot, and he's basically the Cartman of the group, and that's actually a good way to explain the kids. Now, what I mean by drama is that the kids themselves have to band together, and they go through like the drama of growing up. They have issues with their parents and the town bullies and other shit in general, and because Pennywise is in town, all the parents are bewitched. Essentially, like there's like in the book and in the old film, anytime Pennywise is basically in that town, the parents aren't really aware of what's going on. The adults aren't aware of what's going on. Pennywise likes to prey on children because they're the easiest thing to scare, they're the easiest thing to go after. And so in the film, most of the film is just basically the kids. The kids are the main cast. They're the main cast. And they all did a fantastic job. I didn't have a complaint about any single one of the kids. I thought they all did a great job. They were casted very well with like the way they look and the way they talk and everything. I do wish we could have had a little bit more development on certain kids like Stanley and Mike. I feel Stanley had a little bit. We know that he's Jewish and he is dealing with some pressure from his dad. And but I still want to see a little bit more of him. I also want to see more of. I really want to see more of Mike. In the book, Mike, since this takes place in the 1950s, in the book, Mike is pretty much like, ostracized for being black. Like, the 1950s was racist as shit. So basically, he's the black kid. He's the token black kid, and he unfortunately they call him they use the N-word a lot in the book. They tell him to get out of town. In this movie, they do something similar, but they don't say the N-word. They just tell him to get out of town. But all the kids, they're all interesting. We see most of their parents, or at least one of their parents for most of them. But for the most part, you hardly ever see any adults. They're just background characters. And sometimes the adults will be creepy themselves because, this weird spell that Pennywise has over everyone. And the kids, they have a stronger imagination, so they're able to get Pennywise is able to, get them a lot easier compared to the adults. Because adults, they're skeptical about things, but when you're a child, you have a wild imagination, so you basically see everything a lot scarier in a different light. Which actually, that's actually one of the issues I had with the film, actually, because here's one issue I had was when these kids got scared, when they saw Pennywise or one of these horrifying, like they each encountered Pennywise in some sort of form before they all decided to meet up and do something about it. They never tell anyone about it until they decide to until they all end up having the same kind of experience. Like, and that weirds me out because honestly, as a kid, if I saw that shit, I would have freaked the hell out and told someone, especially my parents. But in this movie, like even after like this one part with Bill and like Pennywise in like his house, like I would have like gone to my parents and stuff like that, and you know it would have been nice to have seen like kids go to their parents for help, but the parents can't help them because you know they don't see anything. I mean, there's a part with Beverly where her dad it comes in because he hears her freaking out about something and he doesn't see what she sees, and I mean that obviously points to them not being able to see anything, but I just feel like it would have been a little bit more natural to have the kids actually try to tell their parents or something instead of, I mean, because I know kids imagine stuff all the time, but at the same time it's like, come on, that there's a little bit the stuff that they encountered. I mean, some of it was physical and some of it was just some of it's just too real for it to be imagination. So the fact that they kept quiet on it, I mean, how do you feel about that? That was one of my biggest issues with the whole thing.
No, I can see where you're coming from with that. You know, in real life, you would expect kids to, if any one of them, has seen, things that they said, they would have been quick to tell each other, who was the first kid to experience. I'm not going to go with Mike. Stanley.
Was it Mike or Stanley? Because Mike saw that.
Mike saw something in the beginning, but he wasn't with that particular group at the point of the film.
No, but out of the main group, Stanley saw something.
Stanley saw something
at his right. Synagogue or wherever it was.
And if I was Stanley, I would have told you, or at that age, I would have blabbed about it, like, oh my god,
I mean, they probably wouldn't have believed him, but yeah.
It feels real enough, it definitely warrants, you telling,
an adult,
or just, yeah.
Because when you're scared as a kid, you run and tell the adult
yeah.
what happened. But in this film, like I haven't read the book, and I haven't seen the original film in a long time. But even then, they probably didn't tell their parents much. But I feel like did they tell their parents anything in the old one? Did they ever reach out to their parents? I can't remember. It's been a while, but
yeah,
they probably didn't too much just for screen time. I mean, honestly, like, well, besides Beverly, I'm pretty sure there was parts in the original where they did, freak out and tell the parents, but that's just a small nitpick. That didn't kill the film for me. It was a small nitpick. Like basically, I just feel like if I started seeing fucked up shit like that, I would tell someone a lot sooner. And when they all of a sudden come to the realization that it's a clown, it's just like when they're discussing it later, and Eddie mentions a clown, it's like, how the hell did you know that Bill saw a clown? No one mentioned a clown till you said it. So it's just small stuff like that. I had some issues with the script.
Right.
Some other people have had issues with the script as well. The actors are fine, everything's great, the aesthetics of the film, there's a lot of great things about the film, but the script is the only thing that really bothered me, because there were some lines that just felt kind of weird to me. Like, okay, I mentioned this to you before, but like, the dad, Bill's dad, when he reacts, to Bill in the beginning of the film, showing him that thing he made of like a recreation of the sewer to find out where
Georgie's body might have fallen.
No, we probably just spoiled it for people who haven't seen it. You know what? If you don't know about Georgie at this point, then I'm sorry, but that's like the beginning of the film, so it's not really much of a spoiler. Everyone kind of knows about that, but basically like his dad has a reaction, and like it just seems very fake. He's like he's dead, and I'm just like, you know what? You shouldn't. I don't know why you're freaking out so much. Like, if it felt fake, it didn't feel real. No. I feel like a real reaction would be a lot more quieter, or he'd be a lot more stern, or he'd just be like, or he wouldn't be screaming, he's dead. He'd be screaming like, take this shit down, or something. He does eventually say take this shit down, but I feel like the script, whatever they gave the adults to say, was kind of weird.
It was a bit over the top.
Yeah, and I know Pennywise is supposed to be funny at certain points.
Yeah.
But even I felt like some of his lines were kind of a little bit over the top. Like towards like the end of the battle, where he's like saying, "I will feast on your fears" and stuff like that. It just sounded very, very like theater like. And I guess I could just be his character as well, but there was just some lines in the film that I felt like, oh, this could have been written better, but some lines just seemed kind of cheesy, or some lines were kind of very archaic, very, very, very typical. Not the whole script, just certain parts.
I was gonna say the parts of the film for me that felt, and understandably it takes place in the 80s, but the music, the throwbacks to the other 80s material, movies and music and whatnot. I don't know about how you felt about that, but I felt it was a bit unnecessary.
Yeah.
In this movie.
Yeah, I felt the same way.
Yeah.
If people know it's the 80s, you don't got to throw a bunch of references in there.
Yeah,
That's bound to happen, though. I mean, there's references, like, in the background you can see. I mean, it's okay if it's subtle. Like, in the background you can see in the movie theaters playing Batman. They're playing Lethal Weapon 2 at the time. I think it's 1988 when this all... No, 89.
89, yeah.
And then there's, like, a Nightmare on Elm Street 5 sign as well. And that's fine, but... Yeah, I get what you mean. When they play certain music, or it wasn't too overdone, but I do hate when they do that. It's like, okay, I get it. We're in the 80s. Oh, kids on the block, new kids on the block, all that stuff. Like, there's a little running gag with that when it comes to Ben and what kind of music he listens to. I get it. It's the 80s. Honestly, even though it takes place in the 80s, it still felt like the 50s to me.
Yeah,
because of how old that town is.
And even just even the way some of the adults dressed in the movie. It so felt like this town is set in the 50s era.
Even the kids, the way they dress.
Yeah.
Everything, just the aesthetics of the film didn't feel like the 80s to me. It still felt like the 50s because Derry, the town is very old, and it's one of those New England towns that doesn't really advance much.
Yeah.
It's kind of a simple town where they have, like, farmers and they have, like, basic jobs, just the basic cookie-cutter jobs that people would have in the 1950s.
Right.
And they kind of kept that. So the town doesn't seem very, very advanced compared to, like, maybe other towns in other 80s movies where you'll see more of the 80s stuff obvious, like the malls and stuff like that. Yeah. There's no big malls. There's nothing like that. It's a very small town that, because of the way the buildings look and everything's very nature-y, it just looks like the 1950s, which is fine with me. I like that.
Yeah.
I like that. I have no issue with that. I would prefer it had taken place in the 1950s anyways, because as much as I love the 80s, it's overdone. It's overdone. I'm just being honest. I love the 80s, but it's overdone. They're starting to do the 90s and stuff a lot more now, but yeah, it just feels like it's overdone. Speaking of the 80s, there was a kid from Stranger Things was in this movie.
Richie, yes.
Rich. Oh shit. Forgot the actor's name. Something Wolfhart. I don't know. I'm gonna look up the cast right now.
Oh, I'm gonna forget some of these actors' names.
Yeah.
Characters.
Yeah. If we refer to them just as the characters, I mean, they're all pretty good actors. That's a lot of unknown actors, which I liked. I like the fact that the actors weren't super well known. Finn Wolfhard. He is from Stranger Things. He played the main kid in that. Everyone else is pretty unknown.
Yeah,
I haven't really. Bill Skarsgård is a little well known, but not too much. Only amongst film buffs.
I've only seen Bill Skarsgård in what was that show on Netflix? Hemlock Grove.
Hemlock Grove. Speak it, boy. Hemlock Grove. Yeah. He's in that. Okay.
Yeah, he's in that.
Oh yeah, he is in that. You're right. He is. I haven't seen it myself, but now. There is one other actor I recognize, actually. Nicholas Hamilton, who plays the bully, Henry Bowers. I actually do recognize him. I have actually seen him in plenty of things before, believe it or not. Let me see what he's been in. Oh shit! He's one of the he was in the Dark Tower.
Oh, really?
Was he Jake in the Dark Tower? I think he might have been Jake in the Dark Tower. Yeah, he was in the Dark Tower. Wow, he's in 2 Stephen King movies. Huh. Oh, there you go. The other person I recognize, I could be wrong on this. Let me take a look real quick. Yeah, I'm a little bit wrong on this one, but another one of the bullies. I thought I could have swore one of the bullies that was the Kylo Ren lookalike, the Adam Driver lookalike, the one that played Patrick.
Yeah.
One of the bullies. He reminded me. He looked a little bit like. I just said his fucking name. What was his name? The Force Awakens.
Kylo
Ren's actor. What was his name? I just said his name.
Oh.
Adam Driver.
Yeah.
He looks a little bit like Adam Driver, and he also looks like the kid from A Wimpy Kid.
Oh yeah.
The brother. Mm-hmm. So, honestly, that's probably the only kids I recognize was that kid Nat Wolfhard. Finn Wolfhard. Shit. I'm fucking up today. I keep mixing up my movies. After having seen the American Death Note, I keep fucking thinking Nat Wolf. They both have the Wolf in their fucking name. Finn Wolfhard. What kind of fucking name is that? That's pretty cool, kind of actually. But not Wolfhard. But he's typecasted now, like the '80s kid.
Oh yeah.
That's his role at this point. Like Stranger Things and in this movie's like shit.
If they ever do an E.T. remake, they're definitely gonna look, have him casted as Elliot.
No, I don't want an E.T. remake. That's like the last thing we need. But anyways, back to the film. Like all the actors, they all fit perfectly with the characters. They were all. I tried to watch an interview with the director, but he was kind of boring to listen to, unfortunately. But
oh, really?
it was a little bit boring. But all the actors, they were just kind of naturally chosen, and they decided to see how the chemistry worked between them, and they all have chemistry. They all have. I believe them as a group of friends,
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they did a great job choosing all, and all the characters, the way they looked, fit their characteristics. Like, I'm not trying to be racist here, but like the kid they chose for Stanley, he's got that Jew fro.
Oh yeah.
He got that curly Jewish hair. It's just like that works. And then like and then like everyone else, for example, like Eddie, he looks really nerdy and whatnot. Yeah. I mean, honestly, they all did a fantastic job. They all did a great job. I like the actor for Ben as well. Why isn't he showing up on here? It's weird. I have a cast list and he doesn't even show up. That's bizarre. They have a whole cast list for it, but then they don't have Ben on here. That's fucked up.
Wow.
Where's Ben?
Yeah.
That's depressing. I complain about that.
Cut out the fat kid. No one likes him.
No, but I loved.
No, I like Ben. Man.
I loved Ben. I thought Ben was great. Hold on. Maybe if I go back, we can see. Nope, no Ben.
No Ben. Wow.
That's bizarre. Oh shit. But anyways, sorry. I said oh shit because our battery was going down. But anyways, yeah, the film was great. The film, honestly, like, the acting was great. The cinematography was great. The cinematography was beautiful. That town looks really beautiful. The story was, it was good. I do wish the film was a bit longer. I want to see a little bit more of Pennywise, or just at least a little bit more conflict. It doesn't feel like 2 hours and 15 minutes. It feels shorter.
Yeah, no, it definitely.
It feels like an hour 40 something, to be honest.
An hour or 40 minutes.
There's nothing wrong with that, but with this one, I felt like I wanted to feel the length because of how long the book is.
Mm-hmm.
However, it's not a big deal. The length is perfectly fine, and part 2 probably gonna be a little bit longer.
Yeah.
Either way, so in my opinion, like, the acting was great, the aesthetics are great, the camera work is great. I'm surprised this movie was made for $35 million. I feel like with the effects, they would have, like, with the awesome effects on Pennywise, I feel like it would have been a lot more. But $35 million is not that much at all. They already made $117 million already. And then there's just the fact that, like, there are some generally disturbing moments in the film. Like, the projector scene kind of fucked me up.
Oh yes, the projector scene.
Yeah, don't spoil that much, but
No.
But honestly, the film's not scary. Like when it gets scary, it'll get scary. Like it gets intense. Like especially when the kids go to the Naboth house, it gets intense. You know, if you know someone who's a scaredy cat, they'll get scared by this. But compared to other horror films, it's not as terrifying. It's just like the movie's terrifying, but more of like a in like a adventurous kind of way.
Yeah.
You know, like the jump scares are done efficiently, and you're scared for the kids because you care so much about them. And Pennywise himself is also pretty scary. Like the fact, like the way he just smiles. I mean, he has kind of a goofy smile, to be honest.
Yeah.
But when he shows those teeth, though, when he shows his real teeth, that's when it gets freaky.
Yeah.
And you know, so like Pennywise, I found pretty terrifying. I mean, honestly, go watch this film. I enjoyed the hell out of it. Honestly, it's worth a full price ticket at night. Definitely go watch it. If I could rate it out of 10, I'd give it like a 9. Yeah, I'd give it a 9. Go ahead and give me your opinion.
Oh no, the movie was good. I enjoyed it a lot. Well, the exception of the audience that was in the same theater. But overall, the movie was good. Cinematography was on point, and for a budget of $35 million, that's pretty impressive. Personally, I kind of wanted a little more of a darker undertone with the movie.
Yeah. A little bit too funny. The movie was a little bit too funny.
A little bit too funny, and I wanted to get on that a little bit, particularly with Richie. Even though he's, you know, I like this character a lot, and I'm sure he's probably a lot of other people's favorite character in the movie.
A little bit too much.
A little bit too much. You know, I think because of that, the other kids, you know, Mike, Ben, and Stan didn't get as much screen time.
Yeah, the movie focused on Richie a bit too much. Like I know he's funny and like so the movie really has a lot of comedy in it.
Yeah.
And I'm fine with that in horror films or drama films sometimes, but like
yeah.
The movie's like 3 different movies at once. It's a drama, coming of age, like comedy, horror film. It's really weird. It's more of a thriller than it is a true horror film.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
Because I never, you know, it's more of a thriller, but yeah, like as much as I like Richie, he's that character like shut the fuck up.
Yeah, he give me a bit too much.
Like he jokes a bit too much, and I'm like, all right, calm down.
Yeah.
I think I know that in the book, even the boys joke around a little bit more at the same time to kind of counter him.
Right.
But in this one, he does a lot of that himself.
Yeah.
You know, and yeah, I like I said, I don't have many complaints with this film.
No.
The small things I do, they're very small nitpicks. The script was fine, but it has some issues. But
yeah, no. Overall, this was a pretty solid film, and for a big budget horror film, it was amazing. I'd have to give it an 8 out of 10.
Yeah.
But that's just my personal rating of the film.
I could give it an 8. I'm gonna give it a 9 because I enjoyed it the second time watching it.
Yeah.
The only reason I give it an 8 would be because I was expecting a bit more.
Mm-hmm.
Because I feel like the trailer showed a good amount of the parts you wanted to see.
Yeah.
I mean, no, there's some parts that you don't expect still, but I feel like I expected more. I don't know why. I just expected a little bit more. I was so satisfied, but I was craving more. I was craving more of Pennywise, you know. So like, I don't know. I wanted the film to be longer. This is one of the instances in which the film was like almost 3 hours, and I know that's a stretch for some people, but
well, you know,
I don't mind a film being 3 hours as long as it's got plenty of content in it. I mean, maybe not 3 hours, maybe like 2 hours and 30 minutes, maybe an extra 15 to 20 minutes would have like just to have a little bit more. Because like I said, the movie's pacing is pretty fast.
Yeah.
And so by the time it's over, you're like, oh shit, that's it? That was 2 hours?
Yeah.
That felt less, you know?
Yeah, and you know, I guess especially when it comes to incorporating or adapting Stephen King's books into film, that's where you have to really focus on the pacing of the movie, because his books, he writes long books, and it was well over a thousand.
Over a thousand pages.
Over 1,000 pages.
It's one of his longest books.
Yeah.
Besides The Stand.
And you're trying to compact that into. I mean, there's going to be 2 parts in the movie, but you're trying to compact like a good segment of that story into a 2-hour long film. And I can see where you might run into some trouble with the pacing and fleshing out characters and just trying to progress the story.
I mean, they did well with the time they had.
They did.
So I'm not upset. I'm happy. I'm fine.
Yeah.
I'm glad it turned out well. I'm glad they didn't fuck it up like the Dark Tower.
Oh yeah.
I'm glad they didn't fuck it up like that. So yeah. I mean, honestly, guys, it's great film. And listen, even if you're not into like horror, it's not much of a horror film. Like I said, it's more of a coming of age film.
Yeah.
The best scenes are with the kids,
mm-hmm.
and you will enjoy that. So if you've ever seen Stranger Things, you'll like this.
Yeah.
Because Stranger Things was inspired by Stephen King in the 80s, the whole you can feel this whole Stephen King vibe with Stranger Things. So definitely give this movie a try.
Mm-hmm.
It's not that scary unless you're a really jumpy person.
Yeah.
There is a scene or two where it does scare. It will surprise you.
Yeah.
But I've seen scarier.
Mm.
But the film as a horror film, it looks fantastic. I haven't seen a horror film this great looking in such a long time. This had some care taken to it,
Oh yeah, definitely.
Most horror films nowadays are made very cheaply and they're just kind of put out there, make a quick buck. But I almost said butt. Aha! Sorry.
One thing.
Yeah, go ahead.
I was gonna say one thing. I do want to say is when you do go see this film, try to separate it from some of the previous horror movies that have come out in the past few years, like the Annabelle.
Like the Conjuring universe, Annabelle, Conjuring. Not to say those movies are bad per se, but everything that's come out in the past 10 years has just been really shitty remakes or really shitty just quick supernatural horror films like Paranormal Activity, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
That's just made really quick, and then you expect teens to see on a Friday night.
Mm-hmm.
It's nowhere near like that. This is a very high quality, professionally done film. This is some top. For $35 million, this is some top tier shit. This is very well taken care of. They respected the shit out of Stephen King's book.
Mm-hmm.
This movie looks gorgeous. That's why I don't even consider it a horror film. It just looks gorgeous. The whole thing.
It looks really nice.
It looks gorgeous. The colors are great. The characters are great. Everything. The set design, Pennywise's design.
Yeah.
Bill Skarsgård did a great job. I found him scary. As to whether or not I prefer him or Tim Curry, I have to think about that a bit more. I have to rewatch the old one because I love Tim Curry, but I liked Bill Skarsgård, but I have to rewatch Tim Curry, and because Tim Curry's Pennywise made me laugh my ass off, but I haven't seen the original in a minute, so I have to rewatch that, and then I'm probably giving my opinion on that. But Bill Skarsgård, he did a great job. I couldn't even tell it was him. I was just like, shit, I forgot this is a person.
Yeah,
that's how creepy Pennywise is. You could. Just from his movements, just from the way he moved, and his eyes would start drifting different directions, you could tell this guy's from he's not from this world. He's something different. He's adapting to human behavior and shit.
Uh-huh.
And so just by the way he acts and has quirky moments and his eyes just drift apart and he's weird shit like that. It's just damn, this thing.
Yeah.
Bill Skarsgård. I sometimes forgot it was a dude in a costume. That's how real he looked. The makeup was fantastic. It just felt like a real whenever Pennywise was on screen, it felt like an entity, like an actual, just terrifying entity. It didn't feel like a person in a costume to me.
Mm-hmm.
It felt like a terrifying demonic entity that's going after these kids. So great job on that with the design crew.
Oh yeah,
everything did a fantastic job. I'm glad this wasn't made cheaply. I mean, it was made. $35 million is cheap, but for $35 million, they did a damn good job. They did a damn good job. So like I said, be respectful to people when you go in this film. You can just don't go in try not to go in and be screaming and shit every 5 seconds because you want to listen to the dialogue. Just understand this is a higher quality horror film that that isn't really made anymore, or it's actually kind of rare for its genre, especially with how beautiful the cinematography is. This has some care taken to it. You'd think it'd be made on a higher budget. So hearing it was only made on $35 million was very impressive. So no, this is not going to be like any of those horror films in the past few years. This is a character study, drama, coming of age film. So take it a bit more seriously, but have fun with it. You know, it's a lot of fun. Got some good scares in there. Nothing too crazy, but like, but the special effects are pretty cool. So yeah. I recommend watching the movie. Go watch it. It's great. It's great for Halloween. Have fun with it, you know, and then look more into the source material because there's some cool Easter eggs in there from the source material.
Yes, indeed.
Any last words, Jordan, on that?
No. Again, go in, watch the movie, enjoy it. It's really amazing. And honestly, I can't wait for chapter 2.
Chapter 2. Can't wait to see who they cast as the adults.
Yeah, and hopefully, they stick with, the formula of casting unknowns.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like they might, seeing how much money this movie made, I feel like they might cast popular actors for the adults. Because, I feel like they'd want to make more money before, well, they'll make money regardless because this movie was so successful on its own with these unknown actors that they'll be fine even just choosing unknown actors again. But there's a chance they might use popular actors, and some of the kids have already said that who they would want to play them,
Yeah.
Like, Ben's actor said he'd want Chris Pratt to play him when he's older. I could see that. For Beverly, Amy Adams or Jessica Chastain. So, I prefer Amy Adams. I don't know why Jessica Chastain as much, but, yeah, so hopefully they choose actors that are unknown just to make it feel more real.
Yeah.
It didn't bother me seeing Richie in this and Stranger Things because it wasn't that big of a deal.
No, it wasn't.
So he fit pretty naturally in there. So because he was a completely different character compared to what he was in Stranger Things, completely different characters.
Oh yeah.
So, anyways, guys, yeah, that's pretty much it. Enjoy the movie. It's going to be in theaters for a while. 117 million. It's honestly broken a bunch of fall records, September records. So, highest gross horror film. Highest grossing horror film in September, highest September opening for like a rated R film. I think it has the biggest fall opening actually. There hasn't really been a big movie like this in the fall. I mean, I'm not including superhero films here, but just in general for the fall, like September. It's broken a lot of records, so very impressive. It's great, good to know it's doing well, and I hope the next part is just as amazing. So
yeah.
Anyways, guys, this is Kenny.
JD.
Thanks for listening, and we'll talk to you guys later.